If you find yourself constantly struggling to get what you want, whether it's losing weight, finding a good partner, getting success in your career, making as much money as you want, or generally achieving any goal that you've set out for yourself, you don't have a motivation problem. You have a self-concept problem. Everything in life revolves around self-concept. And when you change your internal world, you can very effectively transform all of your external circumstances, whether it be money, relationships, or health. So what exactly is self-concept? Neville Goddard defines this as the core assumption and beliefs that you hold about yourself. So how do you see yourself and how do you see the world around you? Self-concept will make or break everything in your life because it is the foundation of which we interact with the world. It's how we give and we get from our external circumstances. Your self-concept is made up of a trillion little pieces, and all of those are either aligned or misaligned to what you want to get out of life. So for example, if you've always thought of yourself as someone that studies hard, is book smart, very good with learning, you probably had a very easy time going through school because you kept affirming to yourself that this was easy. This was just part of your personality. It was very easy for you to grow and learn in those environments. But maybe another part of your personality was that you weren't great at social settings. You were shy, awkward. What that meant was it was difficult for you to branch out and meet people. It was difficult for you to be in new social spaces because you thought so. What that also brings up is this concept that everyone is you pushed out. Everything that you think about yourself will reflect onto your relationships and interactions with other people. Going back to that other example, if you think you're a shy person and you're approaching a new group of people, you're most likely going to be a little closed off, be more timid, don't insert yourself into the conversation as much. That closed body language will signal to other people that you aren't open, you aren't forthcoming. So as you think you're shy, you carry yourself that way, and people will respond to that energy by affirming it and treating you that way. It's a reoccurring loop. So 100% of how you experience life is based on your self-concept because it's how you interpret the things around you. And your response to that will drive actions that will change your narrative. Think of your brain like a computer, and the program it's running on is your self-concept. If you code into that program that you are undeserving of love and come to relationships from a place of lack, you will accept people into your life that do not value you. Because when they come into your life, your brain will look at the yellow, orange, and red flags that are all very, very prominent and ignore them, and still open the gate, allowing them in. Because you have programmed your brain to accept less than you deserve, to allow people to come in and not give you the time of day, to mistreat you, to potentially cheat on you and lose your trust because you have not seen yourself as someone worthy to have that in your life. When you look at people that have great relationships, that have a fantastic partner supporting them, they have a very different self-concept. They know their worth. They know that they are deserving of people that treat their time and energy with respect. So when someone that does not fit that criteria walks into their life, their brain just says, no, automatically no. Sorry, that's not who I want to associate with. And they move on. And it's an easy habitual thing for them. They are so aware of what everyone has to bring to the table. And if they are not the kind of people that will treat them with the love and the kindness that they want, their brain's like, oh, sorry, that doesn't identify with my self-concept. Access revoked, you're out the door. And all of this goes beyond just your relationships with people. It literally affects your relationships with everything, whether it's your exercise habits or your work progress or your discipline and motivation to get the goals that you want done. It affects all of that. You need to rework your self-concept so your brain has the right response to everything you experience. You need to start aligning who you think you are now to who you desire to be. Only then can you start having everything you want, because the right self-concept will drive the actions to get you there. Now, how do you actually go and change your self-concept? First, you have to understand and identify what beliefs you want to have. And that can be broken into two parts. The first one being, how do you actually want to see yourself? Do you want to be more strong-willed and firm, or do you want to live a softer and more easygoing life? Start writing down all of the character traits that you would want your up-leveled identity to have. Now, the second thing is how you view everything around you. How do you want to view money? Do you want to believe that it's easy to make? Do you want to believe that it lives in abundance? What do you want your relationship with food to look like? What do you want your relationship with exercise to look like? What do you want your relationship with other people, whether it be romantic partners or friends, to look like? Outline all of those things, because when you start breaking down what you want in both your identity and the way that you interact with the world, you will also start to realize how many limiting beliefs that you have. And that is the next part. So after you've written down what you want your self-concept to look like, you need to start a mental diet, okay? You need to start monitoring your thoughts very closely. And anytime your thoughts fall out of line of what you want your ideal identity to look like, write it down. Because slowly, like I said earlier, you will start to uncover all of those limiting and negative beliefs that you have about yourself. The next time you get nervous about presenting because you are scared that you're gonna fail. The next time you worry someone's not gonna text you back because you don't think you're good enough for them. The next time you look at food and you're like, oh, I can't eat that because I'm too fat. Write all of those things down. Write it down, because you will start to realize just how negative you are to yourself, and that is why you aren't getting what you want. It's why you aren't where you want to be, because you keep talking so poorly to yourself. Like, would you say those things to your friends? Probably not, because that's an asshole thing to do, but instead you say it to yourself all the time. As you start writing those things down, I want you to reject these thoughts. You need to start seeing this as misaligned with your true identity. You need to start realizing that when you make a mistake, when you fail at something, those are abnormalities. Those don't resonate or align with your normal state of being. When you fail and when you make a mistake, take the learnings from it to improve yourself and then let it go, because it's not part of your identity. It's not who you are. Now, getting rid of limiting beliefs is not the easiest thing, because most likely they have been with you for so long. We've either learned them growing up or through a traumatic experience or event, and it's compounded over time where we've consistently told ourselves this narrative. We've created this image about ourselves that is so negative and so entrenched in these limiting beliefs that it's really hard to get out of. And when you think about it, a lot of our limiting beliefs were once created to serve us. They were there to protect us, because it's so much easier to tell yourself, hey, I'm not good enough, than to hear it from someone else. And when you tell yourself you're not good enough, you don't do the action so that someone else can't tell you you weren't good enough when you fail. It's a protective mechanism. And a lot of times, we still use them as protective mechanisms. We don't want to let them go. We love to have victim mentality because we want to be saved by other people. We want to feel bad for ourselves because then we can give up the agency to actually change something. But living in victim mentality, as safe as it feels, is never going to bring you all of the success and joy that you rightfully deserve. That the up-leveled version of you that is able to cast away all of those limiting beliefs is ready to receive. So you need to work on letting go of these limiting beliefs. Something that's worked for me in the past is journaling to these 4 questions, which is 1, where did this limiting belief come from? 2, is it possible that this limiting belief is not true? 3, would I think this about someone close to me? And 4, is there a reason to continue to think and act like this is true if it's not? So try that journal exercise. I've recommended it a few times, but it has been a super effective way for me to combat my own limiting beliefs. So try it out and let me know what you think. As you go through this journey with limiting beliefs, please approach it with self-love, because the more you hate and cast judgment on yourself for having these limiting beliefs, the more you'll have more limiting beliefs. So approach it with acceptance and give yourself grace. Nurture positivity to see yourself beyond these limiting beliefs. Now, the other part of this is you need to start visualizing and acting as if this new identity is already yours. The fastest way to change your self-concept is to take actions to prove to yourself that you already think this way. How would you act if you didn't think money was scarce? How would you act if you thought the perfect partner would find you eventually? How would you act if every single thing you tried to do, you knew would be successful? If I told you you were going to succeed in everything, you would start every single project that you've wanted. You would apply to every single job. You would talk to every single person that you thought was cute or wanted to be friends with. So assuming that identity and acting as if you already are that person is going to help you take the actions to become that person. And that is why self-concept is so incredibly powerful. For me, there are two techniques that I absolutely love when it comes to visualization. And the first one is every single night before bed, I will just lay there thinking of myself like I'm on a movie screen and watching my best and perfect life play out. I just envision myself there, third person point of view, and it is just such a wonderful way to start sleeping. And like, it has become this ritual, this nighttime ritual for me to really imagine myself being successful, because now I'm just training my brain to realize that it's possible, to recognize that this is not a foreign thing for me. Another thing that I absolutely love is scripting. Scripting is just writing everything that you want in your dream life out as if it's already happening. So instead of writing, I want to have an apartment in New York, you would write, I have the most beautiful and luxurious apartment in New York City where I can oversee Central Park and everything is just beautiful. And you go into very specific detail about what you want so you can truly feel as though you are living that life, and you are consistently reaffirming to yourself that that is your self-concept, that that is the identity that you have. All right, so that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you were to take anything, let it be that your self-concept is the number one way to transform your external reality and get everything you want. So focus on it, nurture your own identity, and be kind to yourself. All right. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.